And now for something completely different. And now for something completely different.
Forget everything you've been told by others before. Get ready for the real deal, the full story. Real talk about money, markets, life. Now, it's The Real Investment Show, presented by RIA Advisors.
And good morning. Welcome to Financial Fitness Friday. I'm Rich Rosso, CFP, here with Danny Ratliff, CFP. Thanks for joining us. We so appreciate you being here. We'd like to be here when the futures are up. Let Lance handle the bad days.
Especially on a Friday.
Yeah.
Now, let's see if there's any follow-through. That'll be the key here. A little bit early.
Little green on a Friday in the morning is good. Not in your coffee, though. We don't want any green in. Well, unless you're Danny and he's going to have his green pancakes and alfalfa sprout drink. That's good stuff, though. Keeps you healthy. Health equal wealth. Health equal wealth. But futures are up over 300 points on the Dow today. I know, as Lance said, we might be in a spring coil kind of situation for markets where sentiment's gotten so extremely bad that you have nice snapback rallies. And some of the best rallies occur in bear markets. It's too early to say whether you're in a bear market for the broad market, but it feels... I got the claw marks on my back. It's like that first attack from the bear in the Revenant. Oh, and speaking of the Revenant, if you haven't watched it, just watch the bear scene. Okay, it's a great movie. Hugh Glass was an incredible explorer and trapper. The movie's obviously fiction, but just watch the bear scene. But it's so cool when he fights this bear and the bear walks away. And you think he's going away for good, and he comes back and really ravages him. So Lance is going to be bringing up the Revenant again. We were talking about it yesterday for the newsletter tomorrow. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, realinvestmentadvice.com, sign up there. Sign up for our daily commentary. So obviously there's some talk, maybe this Russia-Ukraine ceasefire talks. You know what I think would be a better idea, Danny?
What's that?
You get that Ukrainian dude, right, who's getting so much... Like, if there's not a movie that's going to be made about this guy, there's no movie going to be made.
Who, Zelensky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That speech he made, and everybody was clapping, I was like, oh my gosh, that's what a real leader looks like? Wow. So, we got that, and we put Putin, and we put them both in a ring with with daggers and stuff, and swords.
Cage match.
Yeah, a cage match. Let's see who wins. That's the ceasefire. How do you have a ceasefire with everything that's going on? But listen, the market wants any excuse to move higher. NASDAQ futures up to close to 200. S&P up 54. But as you say, Danny, really it comes down to the last hour of the day. I was telling Lance yesterday, I notice around 1, 2 p.m. our time, it is a bloodbath ugly. Like, people must be coming back from their martini lunches and really ticked off that they're back at the office because... The market's just those couple hours are just like there's vomiting red, right? And then it turns a bit. So we're all over the board. The volatility is here. We talked about it last year, remember? Better brace yourself for this year because it's going to be a whole new ball game.
Yeah, but there's so many different confluence of factors now. I think, we were just expecting, hey, markets were expensive, likely going to see a little bit more volatility coming into the year. Fed was likely going to hike, but that may be even a little bit more difficult. Christine Lagarde just came out and said economic activity could dampen what they're looking to do significantly, where they're not even looking to raise rates yet. They're just doing some QT. So they're scaling down all their bond buying.
But they're still doing QT.
Well, they are, and they've been doing it a little bit faster than expected. But now they're talking about this, the sentiment that things that are going on with the war, the inflationary aspect that it has, and obviously the pressures that it puts on households and corporations. So it's something that, we're obviously watching for. Next week's going to be pretty important, I think, to understand, exactly get a little bit better idea what the Fed is thinking and, the overall big picture and maybe path forward, because it's changing quickly. Just as we see from day to day, one bad day, one great day, back and forth. Each week we've had really one of the best. I mean, was it this week or last week? It's all blending together, Rich. But we had the worst day we'd seen since October of 2020. Then the following day was the best day we've seen since May of 2020. And, it's just back and forth.
Ironically, how the best days and the worst days are usually through more bear cycles or the first bear attack. Got the scar on my back.
But I think, though, Rich, that these things can turn, just like we see today. Futures are up. Putin says that shifts are, talks are actually, moving forward. I don't know, how much you believe and what's really real here.
Exactly.
But I think that's the heart of the market at the moment is obviously looking at this, looking at the Fed, and then numbers are still they're strong, but we still believe that over time they're likely going to diminish.
March GDP now, right? Latest numbers.
Yep.
0 GDP. Don't hold me to this, but I think it was Goldman who said that first quarter GDP was going to be negative.
Yeah.
It makes sense with where prices are, the oil spike, where real wage growth is, that this economy is decelerating very quickly. I'm in the camp, if the Fed gets in 3 rate hikes, even though they need to, because inflation will be sustainably higher, but we will probably move into a period of disinflation by the end of the year. They're going to be stuck, Danny. I mean, this is going to be almost cornering us into a classic stagflation, low growth, high inflation with the Fed out of bullets. And this is going to be a real interesting time to see how the market reacts to this, how consumers react to it. We have a whole generation of people that have never filled their gas tanks for this price. Actually, I haven't even. So, I mean, now Brett's probably, well, I don't know, Model Ts take gas? What were you?
The silver bullet runs on premium, man.
Oh yeah.
I'm in pain.
You are got to be hurt.
Yeah, and I never let it get below a half tank,
Now
so it doesn't cost as much to fill.
Now, I want to tell you what I noticed coming up on Amazon, not on Amazon, but on Facebook. You know how the ads pop up?
Yeah.
There's a lot of ads for like products to siphon gas. Like,
really?
yeah, so I'm thinking maybe they're encouraging us to like find our rich neighbors.
What have you been looking at that creates that algorithm?
I think because I put
That's
on
right.
No, I think I put on Facebook.
No, cheap old dude.
Yeah. No, I think when I put on Facebook I put something funny.
Yeah.
I put something that the only tip I have is to siphon the gas of your neighbors. That's the only good tip I have right now.
Well, this is a great segue into our next conversation.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Tips from the Depression.
Okay.
But these
Danny's
things,
depressed
these things
that I'm here.
have occurred, right? I mean, these are
Yeah.
things that really people do, and I think that there was a point even so many years ago, people were talking about putting locks on your gas tanks. I mean, I filled up Monday, $100.
Well, that's why cars have lockable gas filler doors now. In response to that problem we had.
It's coming back. You wouldn't have a catalytic converter to sell, would you?
Not cheaply.
He needs to check when he gets to the parking lot.
I'll tell you, it's like a battle zone out there. Hey, speaking of battle zones, we're going to talk a little bit about, some tips from the Depression, lots of tips there, and a little bit about our Combating Inflation and Retirement workshop coming up very soon that you need to attend here on Financial Fitness Friday. We'll be right back.
investment news you can use, delivered at the speed of the internet at realinvestmentadvice.com.
There's a war being waged on your retirement dollar, and unless you act now, you'll lose the battle with inflation, higher taxes, and a lower standard of living. You can blunt the effects of rising prices with our next workshop on combating inflation in retirement. April 2nd at the Embassy Suites Houston. Richard Rosso and Danny Ratliff will help you fortify your life savings, make the most of Social Security, and lower your taxes. Register now for this free workshop at realinvestmentadvice.com. Combating inflation in retirement with Ratliff and Rosso. Realinvestmentadvice.com.
Anyone can sell you insurance, and they'll gladly take your premium dollars. The RIA Insurance Agency can provide you with insurance solutions tailor-made for your needs and lifestyle. Because everyone's assets are different, let RIA Insurance review what you need to protect and how. We won't sell you insurance, but what you need will be a matter of policy. RIA Insurance Agency. 888-915-0780. 888-915-0780. RealInvestmentAdvice.com. Click on the Insurance tab.
Do you know what you don't know when hiring and retaining quality employees? Compensation is more than just wages. It's personal time off, the vacation days, healthcare benefits, a 401k. Do you know what's important to them? Hi, I'm Tom Allen, RIA Advisors Retirement Plan Consultant. Let us show you how to make the most of an affordable, effective package that will deliver true value for your business and your employees. Call me toll free at 855-RIA-PLAN or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
And now, another page from the Real Investment Advisors Investing Manifesto. Bulls win in bull markets. Bears win in bear markets. Eagles soar above and take advantage of opportunity. Let us help you soar as you reach your financial goals with RIA Advisors. Neither bull nor bear. RIA Advisors. 281-501-1791 or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
The Real Investment Show.
Well, good morning. Today we have University of Michigan sentiment. You don't have like one of those toilet flushing sound effects, do you?
Not handy.
I think that's where it's going. Hey, who can blame him? I like how Brent always puts up funny stuff on the board here, but this is cool. 7 money lessons for children. Number 1 is the best. We can just end the show on number 1. Spend less than you make. What? Actually, 7 money practices for adults. That one lesson. Please see children's list.
Can we send this to Uncle Sam?
Uncle Joe?
Uncle Joe. Every Saturday, you know what I'm watching in the morning, right? Brent knows my TV habits better than anybody. Petticoat Junction, Saturday mornings. Yep, Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe is the best. I don't think I've watched any show past like 1963 in the last...
1883.
Yeah, actually 1883. I'm going backwards.
But that's actually before time, so...
There you go. So this... re-examining expenses in your household. Danny, this is still a good time because we know, even though we're estimating by the end of the year, inflation is going to maybe be in a more disinflation environment, the whole sustained level of inflation across the board is going to be higher. So you're going to have to look at your habits. You're going to have to really examine where your cash is going and make changes. And you would be shocked by some of the changes that you can make.
Well, Rich,
you see people are still going through this reawakening of going through expenses. I don't care how much money you make or don't make. This inflation is forcing people to do one positive thing I've noticed across the board. Re-examine their cash flows, their budgets. That's a positive thing because when this turns to some degree, you're going to be in much better shape. It's unfortunate it takes something like this for people to take notice.
Well, and habits can change. They're hard to change, but once they do, it's tough to break.
Yeah. Oh,
and the good and the bad, right? I mean, the bad, we seem, people with credit card debt, people that just spend. And unfortunately, it's just a snowball. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But on the opposite end, once you start to have some success with doing some of these things, it makes it so much easier. I mean, trying to, I think we set all these big, really huge goals that we were always trying to knock off, but we don't ever celebrate the little milestones on the way to get there. And so I think that's a big part of, just the general stuff on how to save, do things. But you're right. I mean, households will have to make a change just as companies will.
Habits are going to change just with energy prices. I
Correct.
talked to a couple yesterday that said they're working out a way to not have to take 2 automobiles to work.
Yeah.
Right? People are going to have to make change. If you get to where gas prices go to $5 a gallon, it'll be a game changer. I don't know if they'll get there, but I think there's a psychological scare to that number.
Well, there is, and especially with people getting back on the road. Because I visited with somebody this week, and they said, look, wife was just called back into the office. They live outside of town, and 5 days a week. Like, this has been great, but now the job that they actually got during the pandemic, where they didn't have to come in, that salary doesn't make nearly as much sense for them now. Because they're like, well, I could work from home, and I didn't have, all this additional cost of driving. But now they start adding that up, and they say, man, maybe this gig's not as good as I thought. So that may be a reason why we're still seeing more and more people, they're still quitting.
Yes.
In record numbers.
And there are a lot of studies, obviously, for the reasons you would think people quit, or still part of this great resignation is more money, more benefits. But, like number 3 on this list, Danny, more flexibility on how we work. More flexibility. Working from home, not always in the office. That trend is not going away. Goldman says that they want everybody back at the office, no matter what, because Goldman's from 1956.
Well, it sounds like a New York big bank.
It does.
I mean, sorry.
But guess how many people, even though it's great money, are going to reassess their lives and go, I don't need this.
Yeah.
Maybe Goldman's got this, this great deep stock of people that want to work for them because of the fascination, but I think that's going to fade for a lot of people.
Well, we've seen that Goldman, big banks have had to pay their bankers quite a bit more than they historically have. Their analysts, people are getting these different, they're trying to find ways to retain talent and also attract, because let's face it, Silicon Valley's really hurt Wall Street in a lot of different ways from a talent standpoint.
Right. And how much money does it take? Like, I know they say everybody's got a number.
Yeah.
But when it comes to your health and stress, when does it become a marginal utility kind of equation where you say, I don't know. You'll have to pay me a lot more money.
I think it depends on perspective and how people are built, right? I mean, everybody has some type of list that they're trying to check off, right? And unfortunately, usually it's monetarily, and it's not
right
the work-life balance. But I do believe that has changed over the last 2 years.
I do too. I think this generation looks at it compared to, say, baby boomers, or you're a freak. I mean, you don't look at things the same. You're like an old school guy, so you would be motivated. I mean, but there are going to be a lot of people that are like, no, how much money can I spend? I want my time. Time is more valuable than money. So, I mean, we are in this storm of changes, and this inflation number really is going to solidify, I think, some of the trends that we saw in the pandemic to remain, and that is flexibility in schedule. Now I've got a great reason to do it. What cost is it for me to fill my tank? And people go, well, you don't need a big truck. Well, some people do need a big truck.
That's
for
right.
work. They've got to carry kids, whatever it is. But I talked to someone yesterday. I can't remember what he's got, but it's a small automobile. He goes, Rich, it was $50 to fill it up.
Yeah.
Your gas tank is as small as a cat's bladder.
It's about 11 gallons.
Yeah. How much did it cost you to fill up?
Last time I filled it was $34 bucks.
I mean,
and that was a week ago.
Yeah. I mean, Brent's got a car that's one step above a bicycle. I mean, and the gas, like I said, $34.
Yeah.
That's not cheap.
And I get 29, 30 miles at a gallon.
Okay. But that's still,
it's a chunk.
you had to drive, well, you do drive every day.
Yeah, 40 miles round trip.
Okay. So it's going to
Do
be
the
interesting.
math.
We'll have to do the Brent count.
I'm 82 round trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you got like a Hummer.
Well, I've got 16 kids.
I know.
You got to put them somewhere, right?
It's a Hummer equivalent anyway.
No, it's not a Hummer.
No, but he's got a lot of people to transport.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, heads up. Mm-hmm. So people can sometimes say, listen, my budget can't handle this. What's the cost of me working or sticking around, working at home? I'm more productive. So this hybrid schedule is not going anywhere. But here's an interesting tip. Start cooking during preheating. Now, I do that because I want my food cooked fast, right? Because I'm impatient. But they say is that most dishes don't require a preheated oven to start cooking. So save energy and time by putting your dish into the oven when it's still cold. During preheating, your food will slowly come up to the right temperature.
That
That
works
is going to
good.
reduce your overall cooking time.
Yeah, that works good on everything but biscuits.
Yeah, and pizza too.
Yeah.
But there are some things I can see that would work.
I haven't had that high of a gas bill to concern me with that, to be honest with you.
Really? My gas
No.
bill's doubled. My gas bill, and I'm just one person, my gas bill has doubled. My electric bill has tripled. And I'm like, I'm going to keep my house at, I'm like the dad that says don't touch don't touch anything, leave everything alone.
Yeah.
My temperature's like 77 in the house, 78.
Over what period of time
Well, that's why
has
your
it doubled?
gas, because you have it at 77
Less-
when it's 40 outside. I mean,
No,
we just don't turn the heater on.
no. It's
get
when
your
it's
ski
cold
jacket,
out.
kids.
When it's cold out, my heater's at 71.
I'm
I'm talking about my
at
AC
68.
is at 77.
Yeah.
I keep the house at 68.
Watch you see what happens to
I
you
tell
this summer,
everybody,
buddy.
you can only
Well, that's a different deal.
you can only take so many clothes off in that environment. In this one, you can always put more on.
That's right.
Bundle up, kids. It'll
That's
be okay.
right.
Now, this one I've always used, although I've been on a diet, so I don't do it as much. Eat out during happy hour, right? Don't do a full dinner because, man, places want you to come in, and they got all the special deals. So if you need to do something or meet somebody, do it during happy hour.
Free food buffet at Chewy's, baby.
Really?
Yeah.
Free food?
Yeah.
No minimum, like you have to have a 70 margaritas?
4 drinks apiece. I mean, no big deal.
They've got
Uber's included.
chips and queso and meat and stuff.
What are the prerequisites on this?
Have to have a pulse.
We split meals.
Yeah, we do
Actually,
too.
quite frequently.
Yeah.
In fact, we have some family in town, so we went out to eat yesterday, and usually we have this. There's one salad that we will get that the kids like, and we can split it 2 ways. Tell you what, we split it 4 ways yesterday. Not just trying to be cheap, but
No.
I mean, it's just that a lot of these portions are big.
They're big. No. This is where real life is going to collide with my life, and it's not going to work. But avoid ordering drinks and desserts. I mean, I'll lose the girlfriend this way. No drinks. Yeah, drinks on restaurant menus, right? Desserts. That's going to cost you.
Well, even like a tea is like $4 now
I'm not going to
for iced tea.
$4 for an iced tea.
I mean, that's what I've seen at some place.
That's crazy.
I'm like, yeah, I'll take the water.
Now, this one we know Brent does do. Shower less often.
Not true.
Just a joke.
But I do shower alone.
You can't do that in a hot, humid climate. Are you crazy? That's a terrible one for Houston and Texas. Shower less often. But some people can. You live up north. Heck, I used to go a week without showering. All right, we get back. We got a few more tips. Also, I got something I want to talk to you about that's going to hit the heart of Medicare Advantage, why we don't really recommend it many times. I think you'll enjoy that. Well, you won't. Well, Lance won't, but I think most of you will get something from it here. Financial Fitness Friday. We'll be right back.
The Real Investment Advice blog. It's required reading for the informed investor. Catch it today at realinvestmentadvice.com.
There's a war being waged on your retirement dollar, and unless you act now, you'll lose the battle with inflation, higher taxes, and a lower standard of living. You can blunt the effects of rising prices with our next workshop on combating inflation in retirement. April 2nd at the Embassy Suites Houston. Richard Rosso and Danny Ratliff will help you fortify your life savings, make the most of Social Security, and lower your taxes. prices. Register now for this free workshop at realinvestmentadvice.com. Combating inflation in retirement with Ratliff and Rosso. Realinvestmentadvice.com.
Anyone can sell you insurance, and they'll gladly take your premium dollars. The RIA Insurance Agency can provide you with insurance solutions tailor-made for your needs and lifestyle. Because everyone's assets are different, let RIA Insurance review what you need to protect and how. We won't sell you insurance, but what you need will be a matter of policy. RIA Insurance Agency. 888-915-0780. 888-915-0780. Realinvestmentadvice.com. Click on the insurance tab.
And now, another page from the Real Investment Advisor's Investing Manifesto. A passive investment portfolio requires active risk management. It's not a choice, it's necessity. Diversification doesn't protect against risk of loss. Let us actively help you reach your financial goals with RIA Advisors. Neither bull nor bear. RIA Advisors, 281-501-1791 or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
Can't catch the whole show now? Listen to our podcast later at realinvestmentadvice.com.
Talking about how we grew up, right? You know, we didn't have Google. If you didn't know the answer, you just were stupid. That's what I read growing up, was reading encyclopedias.
The Real Investment Show podcast.
This is why I have a masterful collection of useless information. So
Same show, your schedule.
I know all kinds of stuff that has no relevance to anything.
At realinvestmentadvice.com.
You know a little about a lot.
I do.
Small businesses are discovering that attracting and retaining top talent come down to more than just salary. In today's highly competitive job market, compensation is more than just wages. Hi, I'm Tom Allen, RIA Advisors Retirement Plan Consultant. Healthcare and retirement plans can make the difference in hiring and retaining the best employees. We can show you how to build an affordable, effective employment package that delivers true value for your workers and your business. Call me toll-free at 855-RIA-PLAN or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
Real Investment Show podcasts are now available from Stitcher Smart Radio at Stitcher.com.
Hi, Lance Roberts here. If you're like most people, your 401k plan represents the bulk of your retirement assets. And unfortunately for many, managing your 401k plan can be difficult. There's so many choices, so many things to consider. With just a quick email, a couple of questions, you can put RIA Advisors to work for you managing your 401k plan. It's a quick and easy application. Just simply click Ask a Question at realinvestmentadvice.com or give us a call at 855-RIA-PLAN. That's realinvestmentadvice.com.
You can blunt the effects of rising prices with our next workshop on combating inflation in retirement. April 2nd at the Embassy Suites, Houston. Richard Rosso and Danny Ratliff will help you fortify your life savings, make the most of Social Security, and lower your taxes. Register now for this free workshop at realinvestmentadvice.com. Combating inflation in retirement. Realinvestmentadvice.com.
You're listening to The Real Investment Show.
This whole inflation dilemma makes preparing for retirement even more important. The prep work before the lifestyle change, more important. Because if you think it battles working people, and we all know it does, retirees on fixed incomes, it's even worse. We always say inflation is personal to the household. Danny's inflation is different from mine. Our inflation is different from, say, an older or a senior couple or someone living alone. So we want to make sure that you're prepared. And that's why we're doing at the Embassy Suites right here off of Kirkwood and I-10. Nice venue.
I-10 to the Beltway.
I-10 to the Beltway. Saturday, April 2nd from 9 to 11, combating inflation in retirement. Now, this is our sort of our right lane with the inflation component, really focusing on that aspect. So when we talk about right lane class, we always talk about, hey, this is your right lane is, hey, you're getting off, you see the exit, you want to prep so that you can get off the road as opposed to something happens and you got to get back on to the freeway of work. Right? You got to get back into the fast lane and get things going. Now, what if this right lane is fraught with potholes? Inflation really can mess up the vehicle retirement. So we want to make sure you understand what you could be up against. So this is a 2-hour class, how to plan to lower taxes, unless you think taxes are going lower in the future. I got one out of like every 100 people that'll say, no, taxes are not going to go up. Okay. Know the dangers and risks from inflation to your retirement, right? How do you make the most out of Social Security and Medicare during inflationary times? And we're going to debunk a lot of financial mainstream advice, which we do anyway. So this, Danny, is a really strong prep course for people that are looking to retire, newly retired. You will learn something.
Well, I think really for any age group, because this is something that it's something that everybody can take something away from, and you can put it to use right away. Mm-hmm. And so, anything from managing money to talking about Social Security, Medicare, long-term care, housing and retirement. I mean, there's so much different information. Inflation, what do people do? I mean, people are having to make hard decisions right now. I mean, think about it. They're making hard decisions with their job, with careers, with families, carpooling. I mean, things are changing quickly as far as people trying to find ways to save and keep more money in their pocket. And class is a lot about how do you keep more money in your pocket from Uncle Sam, all the additional potential taxes, and the ones that people don't know about right now, the stealth taxes.
Yes.
I mean, how many people do you meet
yes.
who say, man, I never knew that if you made too much that Medicare premiums could go up or Social Security was taxed. I mean, a lot of people didn't even realize Social Security is actually taxed.
Mm-hmm. Well, it doesn't make any sense,
well,
right? But it is.
So wait a second. You're going to tax me on my money. Then you're going to give it back to me and tax me again. Perfect.
Sounds like the government. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff live. Your questions. I'm sure you have a lot of them. It fills up fast. So you want to register at realinvestmentadvice.com.
And this is not like one of those virtual things where we have unlimited capacity.
No.
This will be a physical room with a limited number of seats.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to get off these webinars and actually get face-to-face
Well,
again.
it's nice to, Danny and I, we always get questions on webinars. So many questions. We can't answer them. And we love the questions, and they're all good. But in person is just something different, right? We can talk to people. And what's great is the way the audience interacts. You don't have that on a webinar, right? Everybody's throwing questions at us. But, man, the people that sit in the audience for these live events have gone through some of the stuff we're talking about. They'll go, hey, listen, I've done this. Let me tell you, these guys are right. Let me tell you what I did. We learn from people that are sitting there.
Well, and just to be able to share your experience with somebody else who's been there, done that, going through it with you, I mean, I think that's valuable. And so it's really nice to kind of have a group of people that are bouncing ideas or sharing just what goes on in day-to-day life with each other. And so really it's kind of a really good interactive group. It's good. I'm looking forward to get back. 'Cause you're right, the webinars, I mean, you may have 6 questions of almost the same thing, just worded differently.
Yes.
Whereas when we're live, it seems like, you've already, okay, I get that, understand, or rephrase that. But we could go down a list.
It is. And I wish I can tell you, because people will ask me on reviews, Rich, how do we fight inflation? Or how do we invest for it? Listen, there's no real magical elixir for this. Yeah, there are certain things you could do. I still think stocks are the best bet, but it really is going to come down to what you're willing to do, not what some magical investment that's going to overcome it all the time.
Well, even look at, I mean, people are betting against rates, and rates are going to continue to rise. Well, what have they done this year? I mean, really, we're back at about where we've been, 2 months ago. We're back around the 2% range on the 10-year. And you would think with all the inflation, with the Fed coming up on that first hike, that we would have seen rates through the roof. Mm-hmm. And it hasn't happened. So what is that telling us?
You tell me.
I don't know. That's why I asked. Well, I think that's telling us that rates are likely, even though we have this big push, I mean, the market has priced in that they can't go too high. I mean, that's the only thing that would make sense, at least.
The whole planet lives off low rates and payments.
And that's where they backed themselves in a corner, right? Mm-hmm. We talk about Apple, how they came out with the iPhone for $1,000, and everybody's like, "Oh my goodness, this is the death of Apple." No, it was genius. They created this revenue stream that they've annuitized their business, and they're always going to get that. And so, most companies have done some very similar things. And with that being said, I think you're right. I don't think you can get rates too high.
I'm going to share with you another tip on how to save money.
Okay, what you got?
Stay in Airbnbs. This is my favorite form of travel accommodation. I looked at a hotel in Galveston to spend the weekend. Not going to say what the hotel. $500 a night.
Oh, I know what hotel it was.
Okay, $500. Found an Airbnb on the beach. Right, you can cook or reheat your own meals. Right, you can do your laundry, feel comfortable, walk to the beach. Guess how much per night? $129. But it's a whole house with a pool.
Wow.
And off to the beach, compared to a hotel. So the Airbnbs, to me, are a much better way to stay in places versus hotels.
Well, you can save so much money because then you're not stuck going to the restaurants within the hotel. Oh, you want to go get a coffee? That's going to cost you $8.
You could do it all there at the Airbnb. You don't have to go out for it.
You just got to plan a little bit. But yeah, I like that idea as well. I mean, that's kind of what we do just because it's tough to fit everybody in one room at this stage. But it's also extremely expensive. I mean, $500, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, this is Memorial Day weekend, so I understand why you would hike the prices up, but then why would maybe Airbnb did the same, but every hotel that I looked at, and it didn't have to be the top line hotel. The cheapest one I saw was $329.
Wow.
Off the Galveston Beach, where I found a whole house for $129. And I can make meals there, make my own coffee in the morning. It just seems like a better deal. So I think that's a really good travel hack. If you haven't looked at Airbnb, and I'll tell you, I have had clients, Danny, that wanted to buy second homes. Mm-hmm. And I said, why do you want to always have a home in Colorado, always have a home in Florida? Every time you go there, you're fixing stuff, taking care of things. But what if you can go anywhere you like? I have diverted that goal. I have more clients that say, Rich, thank you. We use Airbnb, and we stay at every beach we want.
That's right.
And that, so this really opened up a whole new door for people that wanted to buy homes, second homes, but then not do all the work and use Airbnb and go to all these great locations. Because Airbnb has these really exotic locations too and really unusual homes. Mm-hmm. Even in Texas, right? Really cool kind of places you can go. And you don't have to have a second home.
No, it's that's a great plan, and we've utilized that with many different clients in the sense that I have some that were working pre-pandemic from home. Say, look, I can work from anywhere, so I want to go buy the beach house, or I want to buy the lake house, in the mountains and look up at the lake. And I said, wait a second, if you can work from anywhere, you sometimes you just don't necessarily have the money. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but to go and do this, right? But what you could do is go rent that home for a month, and it's way cheaper. And then you know what? Great, pick up the next month, go somewhere else.
1 month in July, you guys are going to really miss me. But I am going to rent a house in Ridgeway, Colorado. Population like 200, and there's still too many people. Right off of Dennis Weaver State Park. For that whole month where I can look at the mountains and see horses in a cabin, nice cabin. I could do that for a month and
Brent,
work.
I think we should join them.
I don't know. What are they doing with horses in the cabins?
Well, outside the cabins.
Oh, okay.
But they can bring the horses in.
Okay. It's
where for all the animals. Yeah, why don't you guys come? We'll do the radio show from Colorado. Oh, that means Lance has to come. I'm putting him in the stall.
We got the rig. We can do it.
Okay.
Who's watching the kids?
Somebody else.
We'll put them out. They're called free-range children. We'll be right back.
Get daily investment news you can use, delivered at the speed of the internet at realinvestmentadvice.com.
There's a war being waged on your retirement dollar, and unless you act now, you'll lose the battle with inflation, higher taxes, and a lower standard of living. You can blunt the effects of rising prices with our next workshop on combating inflation in retirement. April 2nd at the Embassy Suites Houston. Richard Rosso and Danny Ratliff will help you fortify your life savings, make the most of Social Security, and lower your taxes. Register now for this free workshop at realinvestmentadvice.com. Combating inflation in retirement with Ratliff and Rosso. Realinvestmentadvice.com.
Anyone can sell you insurance, and they'll gladly take your premium dollars. The RIA Insurance Agency can provide you with insurance solutions tailor-made for your needs and lifestyle. Because everyone's assets are different, let RIA Insurance review what you need to protect and how. We won't sell you insurance, but what you need will be a matter of policy. RIA Insurance Agency. 888-915-0780. 888-915-0780. Realinvestmentadvice.com. Click on the insurance tab.
What worries you about your money? Enhance your financial success with RIA Advisor's free financial planning tool, MyBlocks. It's our online modular manager for your money and your life. Does your vision of retirement match up to reality? MyBlocks can help to determine how much you'll need and how you can achieve. Create your own personal financial vision for the next decade with MyBlocks, our free tool at RIAadvisors.com. Click on the Client Portal tab, RIAadvisors.com.
And now, another page from the Real Investment Advisors Investing Manifesto. Manage risk and volatility rather than trying to manage gains. You don't have to be right all the time. Long-term investing success is a 70% gain. Let us help you reach your financial goals with RIA Advisors. Neither bull nor bear. RIA Advisors. 281-501-1791 or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
The Real Investment Show.
And we're back. One more money lesson from the children. You don't have to have what others have. My gosh, is that freeing? I love that.
If you could teach people that at a young age, like, hey, don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses.
I think if you could do that with your kids,
Yeah.
because kids are totally notorious for the peer pressure, right? I'm not saying adults are any better. But no matter how much money I make, why do I need a house that's 10,000 square feet? Like even these movie stars, right?
Yeah.
Like say you were making that kind of money, Danny, right? What am I exactly are these rooms going to be all for? I mean, why do I need 10, 15, 20,000 square foot home?
It's like my wife says, it's just another bathroom to clean.
Yeah, I understand we would have more other people clean it, but it's such a, I mean, what's the point?
Yeah.
What really is the point? So, I don't know. I think that's a great one. If you can release the kids from, hey, you know, Jim's dad got a new car. That's good for Jim's dad. I used to tell Haley that. She would say like, oh yeah, they're going to Hawaii. I'm like, oh, great. I always helped her understand, be happy for them. But don't envy or be jealous of what they have or what they're doing. Because you don't know the story. How they got it, what they did to, what their situation is.
And what might they have had to sacrifice to do that, too.
That's right.
And that's the kind
Everybody has priorities, and you give up something to get something else.
And that is also, if you want to turn that lesson around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk about how much they probably had to save. Not that any household does that.
Well, hold on.
But
we know what really happened. The sacrifice isn't happening now. The sacrifice is going to happen later.
Okay, but your lesson could be different.
That's right. No, it
right?
should be.
So to Brent's point, that's a great way to turn it around and say, well, let's price a trip to Hawaii.
Yeah, there's no delayed gratification any longer, right? So
right.
Now it's going to be a delayed retirement. I mean, you think about it. A lot of people are they're notorious for that. You think like, how can people do this? And you and I, from what we do, know what most people make. So it's kind of hard not to sometimes you think about, okay, you do the math.
It's absolutely true.
And not in a bad way. I mean, I wouldn't judge anybody. Hey, all great for you. But it's interesting because I do believe that does breed within just people in general. It breeds that want for more and more and more, especially with social media. We go out, you get on a tangent here, right? Because everybody only shows the best of everything. And so that's an easy way to get suckered and caught into this, especially with kids now that are on these social media platforms. I mean, how many people have you seen that go rent a jet for 20 minutes and take pictures with it and, they post it on Instagram or whatever it may be?
Like you said, social media and delayed gratification do not go in the same sentence. If you can teach your children and learn yourself the benefits of delayed gratification, you will have money. You will have net worth. You will have financial peace and less vulnerability if you can delay the gratification.
But you know what that comes with that? Freedom. It liberates you to do things, right?
Yes. Listen, I live below my means. I know a lot of us do. Inflation is terrible. But if I've wound up making more food at home. I'm not missing anything. You learn to have a discipline. And if this inflation can help you to look at your budget, know where your cash goes, and create more of a discipline for when the time it does ebb, that's okay. Inflation is not a good thing. I just want you to help make the best of it and then turn it into a positive. And like you said, Danny, and I wish I would have used this with Haley now that I think about it, but if you would have went in, if one of the kids said, well, Joe's parents are going to Hawaii, and you go right there and you start pricing it. This is how much it's going to cost. Let's look at a hotel. Let's look at a flight. Here's the dollar cost. How do we pay for it? It's going to cost $3,000. I'm being just throwing a number, probably 3 times that. But
yeah, I think you're right.
How do we pay for it? What are you going to give up for that $3,000? Do I have to sell your Barbie Malibu collection? In other words, if the kids have to give in something to that, they might appreciate it more.
Yep, I agree.
Oh, so, I'm preaching to you. I know how you teach the kids to be fiscally responsible, but these are ways to help make the decisions real. And inflation, unfortunately, makes it too real.
Well, the difficult part is, we've talked about how teaching these types of lessons is difficult.
It is.
Because nothing's tangible anymore, because everything's on the card, everything is easily done. You hit a button on the internet, next thing you know, something shows up at your door. Trying to teach that and for little ones to conceptualize that is really difficult. But for people as well. It's not just kids, it's adults too.
Right.
Oh, well, I'll hit the button. Have it tomorrow.
While we're talking, right, you could order... Hell, you probably could have built a new car in about 10 minutes. And you may not get it. You might be dead by the time it comes, but you can order it today. It's too easy. It's too easy to place trades, right? People can just go ahead and pull the trigger. When I remember when electronic trading came, and I was shaking my head like, oh, and this is the worst thing that has happened to investing ever. Oh, no, this is great. Everything's at your fingertips. Okay. And I got to manage my emotions and have the ability to place a trade. Boy, that's going to work. That's really going to work. It didn't turn out as bad as I thought, but man, I really figured people are never going to get returns ever again. Or they're going to get a lot of big ones and they're going to lose them all. It just didn't seem like having that available when investing really in much of a degree is delayed gratification, right? Although we hate planting money seeds in the ground and wait for the money tree. We want to plant the money tree in the ground and have it grow to a bigger tree. Because it's all about, hey, that stock, I bought it on Monday. It's Wednesday. It's not doing anything.
But you know what's funny, too, is that we plant these seeds. You hope that they grow. Then they grow. And how many people don't ever trim it?
No, they don't want to
no way, I can't sell.
They don't want to cut the branches then.
Yeah.
They don't want to take the fruit off the tree. The fruit rots.
That's right.
Money's fickle. Money's a fickle thing. So listen, some of my my heroes, now they're on TV. Preaching Medicare Advantage. My Joe Namath, my Jimmy J. Dynamite Walker. Who else? Who's next, Brent? Who is going to be next on this?
Troy Aikman.
He's selling bricks.
No, but a Troy Aikman would be a perfect Medicare Advantage salesperson.
Warren Moon.
Really?
For South Texas.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, for the one person who lives there. What about, trying to think of some aging movie, Warren Beatty. Clint Eastwood.
Ooh.
Surprised he hasn't done that already.
He doesn't have to.
Well, of course he doesn't have to.
I don't think any of these guys. Well, Jimmy J.J. Walker probably has to.
Joe Namath may need to.
Yeah, a lot of chicks in the 70s. That takes that's a lot of immediate gratification he's paying for now by selling Medicare
Fur
Advantage.
coat.
Yeah, with the fur coat with all the blondes and stuff.
Yep. With pantyhose underneath.
So you remember, like, your parents would say, when you grow up, you can be president? My dad would say, someday you grow up, look at that. You can wear that fur coat, be with all those chicks. So that worked out real well. So Medicare Advantage is popular. It's very lucrative. In 2021, more than 4 in 10 Medicare beneficiaries are enrolled in Medicare Advantage. 2/3, Danny, pay 0 premiums. Do you think that comes with a cost? Or is they're just doing this out of the goodness of their Medicare Advantaged hearts?
Yeah, no, it always comes with a cost. And the cost is, what you're going to pay at the end of the day. If you need specialized care, you'd like to go out and find additional services. I mean, there's so many things that, especially when you see them giving things away. You went to the bank and they gave you a toaster for opening an account. Didn't that feel a little bit weird? Same thing's going on with
yeah, because you
Medicare
were going to
Advantage.
get toasted, all right. Annual gross margins in Medicare Advantage market are double what they are in the individual and group margins, like if you were going to buy, say, Medigap. That fills in. So Medicare Advantage is all-inclusive for people who don't know, right? You get everything. You get your dental, you get your vision, you get your hospital. You might get a Fitbit. You might get a nice watch, a bicycle. Who knows? Think about this. One study showed that half of Medicare Advantage enrollees would pay more for a 5-day hospital stay than original Medicare, Danny. And in health outcomes, this is measured by high disenrollments in the last year of life may be seen as worse due to the limitations of Medicare Advantage plans on the sickest patients. So if you are going to, God forbid, have one of these more serious illnesses and take your chances, Medicare Advantage might wind up costing you more than a Medigap policy, even though you think you're paying 0 premiums with Medicare Advantage. And the numbers show it, Danny. And this is something we talk about in our Combating Inflation in Retirement class coming up on April 2nd from 9 to 11 a.m. We hope to see you there. Well, that's it for us. Lance back on Monday. Hope you have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you.